We could with the warehouse mine. Sounds like he got his mic $2. Really? They're camping way at the back. The fact that people have to camp on free fall, that's just...
I don't think that he was camping. I think he just stopped for 2 seconds and found you.
I can't understand yours. I missed every single shot. I can actually admit that I've got some pretty shit aim. Chronic.
Copy that. UAV is on station. Be advised, UAV is exiting the AO.
This is a pretty good game. Oh, I just lagged. Nice. Nice, she killed my streak.
Copy that. UAV is on station.
I missed every shot, I'm a bot. Yep, I'm an actual bot. Oh, shit. I fucked that up. Nice.
UAV is being refueled. RTB at this time.
Yeah, you got me. What does this go up to exactly?
Right.
Oh yeah. I don't usually play 3-4. Nice. Shut that down. Put my one up. Oh, nice. Oh, feel bad for you. Feel bad for you. GG's and I was lagging that whole game. Damn. All of these are higher. Let me see.
Monday morning, I go over that bullshit. Terminal. Price tying on this motherfucker. I keep forgetting it's Wednesday.
Target area located. Secure the hard point. We have taken the lead. Friendly UAV online. Hardcore, hard point. Secure the target area. Hard point compromised. Secure the area. Friendly VTOL. Enemies inside the perimeter. hard point.
Sending thermite.
Friendly UAV on
Dusted them.
hard point compromised. Secure the area. Enemies inside the perimeter. We've lost the lead. Hard point relocated.
Swapping
Stand
mags.
by. Enemy UAV active. Hard point relocated. Secure the target area. Friendly UAV online.
Grenade, get back. Enemy KIA.
Confirming next hard point. Stand by. Target area updated. Move to the hard point. Friendly UAV on station. Friendly UAV online. Enemies deploy the counter UAV. Hostile UAV in the area.
Throwing smoke. Holding fresh mag.
Hard point compromised. Secure the area. Friendly UAV on station.
Tossing smoke grenade. Eyes up.
Hardpoint relocating. Stand by. Enemies inside the perimeter. Relocated. Secure the target area. Enemy UAV active.
Revenge is beautiful.
Confirming next hardpoint. Stand by. Target area updated. Move to the hardpoint.
Changing mag. Thermite out. I'm hit.
Friendly UAV online. Friendly UAV on station. Hostile cluster mine detected. Hostile UAV in the area. Hardpoint relocating. Stand by.
Sending
target
thermite.
area.
Loading fresh mag.
Enemy UAV active. Hostiles deployed the remote turret.
Thermite down.
Hardpoint compromised.
Throwing incoming.
Confirming next hardpoint. Stand by. Enemies inside
Sending
the perimeter.
thermite.
Hostile UAV in the area. Target area updated. Move to the hardpoint. Hardpoint compromised. Secure the area.
Oh, oh.
Enemy holds the lead.
You are still
Oh,
losing.
something wrong.
Standing by.
Requesting recon flyover.
Copy. UAV. Friendly UAV online. Enemies inside the perimeter. Hardpoint relocating.
Got moved.
Stand by. UAV is being refueled. Friendly UAV on station.
Eyes up.
Hardpoint relocated. Secure the
Changing
target
mag.
area.
Swapping.
Oh.
Thermite down.
Enemy UAV active. Hostile
Changing
cluster
mag.
mine active.
Careful. Asshole.
We're getting hit hard.
Tossing smoke grenade. Sending thermite.
Confirming next hardpoint. Stand by. Hostile counter
Moving this way.
overhead. Hostile UAV in the area. Target area updated. Move to the hard point.
Stupid.
Thermite out. Got movement. Throwing smoke.
Hardpoint compromised. Secure the area. Enemy operation. Friendly UAV online.
Taking rounds.
Hardpoint relocating.
Tossing
Stand
smoke
by.
grenade.
Moving.
Hardpoint relocated. Secure the target area. Enemy UAV active.
Oh, you lucky. That's crazy.
Mission failed.
See, you shot me, you shot me.
Good teammates. You are so good teammates. You are so good teammates.
Thank you. You wanted to see that invite?
No, be stupid.
On the beef stew? Beef stew.
Moving.
What we doing, y'all? We camping?
Movement.
You're just gonna keep sitting back there, bro.
Hardcore free-for-all. Weapons free. Engage all threats on target. Hostile UAV in the area. Enemy UAV active. Enemy Overwatch helo inbound. Hostile UAV in the area.
Threats in the area. Hostiles deployed a remote turret.
Enemy in the area.
We're getting hit hard. The enemy holds the lead. Clock's ticking. Enemy UAV active. Mission failed. Return to base.
Unfortunately, by default, there's a setting turned on in the game which makes centering cross.
Run from work to creativity.
High-rise line running around. A lot of people mindlessly will just sort of look in the direction they're running, and then when someone pops out, they have to last-minute blitz, and then they might end up losing that gun. Instead, what we want to make sure we're doing is getting good crosshair placement. So as I come around here, I'm instantly hitting my crosshair on here. So if anyone decides to challenge from this window, I can ADS and I'm ready to fight. Unfortunately, by default, there's a setting turned on in the game which makes centering and crosshair placement a lot more difficult than it needs to be. You'll see if I move left and right or up and down, the crosshair in the center of the screen actually isn't static. It's moving around as my gun is moving around. So what ends up happening is as I'm challenging corners on a map or even just running around, that crosshair's going all over the place. And it's just going to make it so much harder to get good crosshair placement and win those gunfights. We're going to remove this sway completely by coming to your settings, going to interface, scroll down to HUD, and you'll see crosshairs are default set to on. What you might not realize though is that there's an option for static which will remove that sway. So much harder to get good crosshair placement in those gunfights. We're going to remove this sway completely by going to interface, scroll down to HUD, and you'll see crosshairs are default set to on. What you might not realize though is that there's an option for static in here, which will remove that sway completely. And now as a result of that, we've got a completely static crosshair that's not going to wave around in the middle of our screen. It makes crosshair placement as our default set to on. What you might not realize though is that there's an option for static in here, which will remove that sway completely. And now as a result of that, we've got a completely static crosshair that's not going to wave around in the middle of a screen. It makes crosshair placement really easy, and I'm going to be winning a lot more gunfights as a result of that. Now, a little extra tip that some of you guys might like when it comes to your crosshairs is that you can go back into the interface area, and instead of setting this to static, you can turn this off, then click Show More, and turn on this center dot setting. What you get as a result is just the dot in the middle. You don't actually get lines on the side of the crosshair that expand and go back and forth. Now, those lines are quite good for understanding what your hipfire spread is, but once you get used to that hipfire spread, you can just reduce the visual clutter and just have the dot instead. And honestly, this looks clean as hell. I'm definitely going to be trying it out and seeing how it works. Next up, we're going to look at how to get a much more responsive tactical sprint, which in turn should allow us to get around the map faster if we're able to get that tactical sprint going quicker each time. As you guys probably know, to activate tactical sprint by default, I'm always running around, stomping around. If I don't have covert sneakers on, everyone is going to hit every single little thing I do, which is not good. I'm going to show you a much better solution. Go back to the same area, so either keyboard and mouse or controller, then to gameplay, put that automatic sprint back to off, and instead go down to tactical sprint behavior and change it from the default double tap to the bottom one, single tap run. So what happens now is if I just press W, I'm not pressing shift, I still get to walk around. So if I want to play a little bit slower, check some angles, not make as much noise, I can do that. I'm not going to be tactical sprinting around the map. all the time. But if I quickly need to break into a tactical sprint, I only need to press the sprint key once, as you'll see. Shift. Straight into a tactical sprint. And even better, what you see is when the tactical sprint during...
You guys can make the changes starting LLC in 3 easy steps. Your business screens are as close as your fingertips. Just answer a few basic questions. Once you've done that, you're on your way to becoming your own boss. Plus, LegalZoom is a one-stop shop for helping you run and protect your business, including access to attorneys and CPAs. When you're ready to blaze your own trail, choose LegalZoom, America's #1 business formation service. Start your LLC today.
Duration runs out. If I just keep holding shift, the tactical sprint comes back as soon as it's ready. And what this means is I'm going to be clearing the map in the quickest time possible because I'm always getting every single bit of tactical sprint that I can as soon as it refreshes. This is an absolute game changer. Everyone needs this. The next change we're going to make, and even better, what you see is when the tactical sprint duration runs out, I just keep check some angles, not make as much noise. I can do that. I'm not going to be tactically sprinting around the map all the time, but not make as much shift. I still get to walk, run. So what happens now? Change it from the default of double tap instead, then to game. Go back to the same area, so either keyboard, mouse, or controller, then to gameplay. Put that automatic sprint back to off, and instead go down to spare solution. Go back to the same area, so either keyboard and mouse or controller, then to gameplay, put that automatic sprint back to off, and instead go down to tactical sprint behavior. Take the same area, so either keyboard and mouse or controller, then to gameplay, put that automatic sprint back to off, and instead go down to tactical sprint, that automatic sprint back to off, and then to gameplay, put that automatic sprint back to off, and instead go down to tactical sprint behavior and change it from the default of double tap to the bottom one, single tap run. So what happens now is if I just press W, I'm not pressing one, single tap run. So what happens now is if I just put a double tap to the bottom one, single tap run. So what happens now is if I just press W, I'm not pressing shift, I still get to behavior and change it from the default of double tap to the bottom. If I just press W, I'm not pressing shift, I still get to walk around. If I want to play a little bit slower, check some angles, not make as much noise, I can do that. I'm not going to be tactical sprinting around the map all the time. But if I quickly need to break into a tactical sprint, I only need to press the sprint key, not pressing shift, but single tap run. So what happens now is if I just press W, I'm not pressing shift, I still get to walk around. If I want to play a little bit slower, check some angles, not make as much noise, I can do that. I'm not going to be tactical sprinting around the map all the time. But if I quickly need to break into a tactical sprint, I only need to press the sprint key once, as you'll see. Shift. Straight into a tactical sprint. And even better, what you see is when the tactical sprint duration runs out, if I just keep holding shift, the tactical sprint comes back as soon as it's... I'm always getting everyone. Move up to a bit of cover or a wall, you can ADS and you can mount on the surface, which gives us really accurate beams at range. Now, if you want to leave the weapon mount, the first way is to just stop ADSing. Now, that's instant, but it's not very good, because if I then needed to challenge someone over here, I'm having to un-ADS and then ADS back in. It's just wasted time, not good at all. The best way to leave a weapon mount is to just input a movement command. So, if I push D on my keyboard, so I'm moving right, I will stand up and start moving right. So I can instantly challenge, through here, come back over here, go back to the weapon mount. The problem is that by default, there's a delay between me putting in that input command and the mount ending. You see, if I press my D key now, there's about a second or so of a delay, and it feels really sluggish. If I instantly need to get off this weapon mount and challenge over here, it just takes too long. Luckily, we can change this, but it is very well hidden. So you go into settings, and then once again, you either go keyboard or mouse or controller, depending on what you're playing on. You then want to go to gameplay and scroll pretty much all the way down to the combat behaviors area, and then to another sub-menu called combat. Advanced Settings area, and then to another submenu called Combat Advanced Settings, there's a weapon mount exit delay setting, which by default is set to medium. What you want to do is change this to instant. And now that we've done that, if default is set to settings, there's a weapon mount exit delay setting, which by default is set to combat behaviors area, and then to another submenu called combat advanced settings, there's a weapon mount exit delay setting, which by default is set to medium. What you want to do is change this to instant. And now that we've done that, if I go back into my weapon mount, and this time I'm going to press right now, I'm off instantly. Mount left. Mount back. It's instantaneous. It doesn't feel sluggish. I don't know why by default it's set at medium.
It will be a must stop. You do not have to be scared. We can count on all of us. All of us are going to stop relationships. Wait, did we just meet Riri?
Medium, but go and change that right now. Now, before we move on to the next setting, if you are finding this video enjoyable, informative, and you want to see more of it in the future, then please do consider subscribing down below, as well as clicking that like button. It literally takes no effort on your guys' part, and it means the absolute world to me. Anyway, next setting. The next setting we're going to change is specifically for controller players, especially those of you who are a fan of slide cancelling being back in the game and allowing you to challenge those corners. Now, I'm not very good on a controller. I play on keyboard and mouse, so keep that in mind while I'm demonstrating this. Unfortunately, a lot of people at the moment are saying slide cancelling feels a little bit clunky, and that comes down to the fact that the crouch button, which we use to slide, also shares an input with diving, which we do by holding. Now, universally, the dive is less useful than the slide in this game. You might want to use it here and there, and maybe when it comes to Warzone when that's out, but in multiplayer, you really don't get much use out of it, because when you dive, you can't shoot your gun, you're just open to getting killed. So a change that we can make that might be a little bit controversial is you can completely remove diving from the game. To do this, go to your settings, go to controller, then go over to gameplay and come down to slide/dive behavior, and you're going to change this to slide only. What this is going to mean is even if we hold the right stick to slide, or what would usually be a dive, we still get a slide, and a long one at that. We can do a nice big long slide around the corner. Once again, my aim isn't too good, but this is going to allow you to get a much more responsive slide cancel, and you're not accidentally going to be diving as you're moving around the map. I've already seen a ton of the controller movement guys who have been disabling the dive, so I thought I'd follow suit and try it out, and it definitely feels better, so you should go and try it out. The next setting we're going to cover is all about gunfights and landing more shots on target, and by default in Modern Warfare 3 it's actually set correctly, but a lot of people turn it to the wrong setting and they don't even realise why it's so bad. So let me explain. The setting we're talking about is actually in the graphics area, in the view tab, and it's ADS field view. By default this is set to affected, which is correct, this is what we want. But a lot of people come in here and they turn this to independent. What this setting actually does, we want, but a lot of this field of view. By default, this is set to affected in the view tab, and it's ADS field of view. By default, this is set to affected, which is correct. This is what we want. But a lot of people come in here and they turn this to independent. What this setting actually does is it determines whether or not the increased FOV, which we've done up here, which is correct. This is what we want. But a lot of people feel actually in the graphics area, in the view tab, and it's ADS field of view. By default, this is set to affected, which is correct. This is what we want. But a lot of people come in here and they turn this to independent. What this setting actually does is it determines whether or not the increased FOV which we've done up here, which I always recommend because as you can see, high FOV and this to independent. What this setting actually does is it determines whether or not the increased FOV we've done up here, which I always recommend because as you can see, a high FOV allows us to get as much information on the side, the peripherals of our screen. FOV, which we've done up here, which I always recommend because as you can see, a high FOV allows us to get as much information on the sides, the peripherals of our screen as possible. We're not losing out on any information when we're actually playing the game. By setting ADS field of view to independent and then ADSing, we zoom really far in, which a lot of newer players think is better. The peripheral, the increased FOV independent. What this setting actually does is it determines whether or not the increased FOV, which we've done up here, which I always recommend because, as we can see, a high FOV, and the ID graphics area in the view tab, and its ADS field of view. By default, this is set to affected, which is correct. This is what we want. But a lot of people come in here and they turn this to independent. What this setting actually does is it determines whether or not the increased FOV, which we've done up here, which I always recommend because, as we can see, a high FOV allows us to get as much information on the sides, the peripherals of our screen as possible. We're not losing out on any information when we're actually playing the game. By setting ADS field of view to independent and then ADSing, we zoom really far in, which a lot of newer players think is better. We zoom really far in, which a lot of newer players think is better because the people look bigger. It's going to be easier to land shots on them. That's really good. Well, not really, because we've lost all of that information we gained from having a wide FOV. If someone comes to my left or my right now, I'm going to have pretty much no idea they're there. Whereas instead, if I come over and change this back to affected, and then I ADS, I haven't zoomed in anywhere near as much, and I'm going to be able to see any threats that are coming from my peripherals just the same as I would if I wasn't ADS'd at all, which is really important. But it doesn't end there, because this isn't just to do with getting more information, it's actually all to do with how the gun looks when you're spraying and how easy it is to land shots. You see, if I come back to independent, and then I ADS, my gun sways around quite a lot, which already puts me off a little bit, makes it a bit harder to maybe stay on target. And then when I start shooting, the gun bounces around your screen, and I kind of have to burst to even get the shots on it. If you set the ADS field of view back to affected, and we do the same kind of test, the actual overall sway just doesn't look as bad, because we're zoomed that little bit further out, so the scale on our screen, how far we're moving, is lower. Now, this is what we call visual recoil. It's nothing to do with how much the gun is actually recoiling. It has the exact same recoil pattern whether we're on independent or affected, but the gun doesn't look like it's bouncing around the screen as much, which means it makes it easier to keep that red dot on the target and overall get more kills. Now, the final setting we're going to change today is incredibly easy to explain. Some people might not even think it's that useful, but it actually fixes one of my pet peeves that I know a lot of people have about the game, and it's all to do with stuns and flashes. Specifically, the sound that they make in your ear. If I just stun myself, just take a listen to the sound. There's this horrible, high-pitched sound that is obviously very realistic of what would happen if you got stun grenaded in real life. But when you're playing in one of those blender games where there's flashes and stuns going on everywhere and you're constantly hearing that in your headphones, it ain't good. It is horrible. Luckily, we don't have to worry about it because you can remove it completely using a setting that you find in the audio area right at the bottom. It is reduce tinnitus sound. But what tinnitus is a condition in real life, like if you go to a gig or you hear a really loud sound go off, you have that ear ringing that lasts for days on end, and it's horrible. And we can reduce it completely by just turning this on. If I now throw a stun at myself, we listen. It's bliss. It's completely gone. No silly high-pitched sound. I don't need to hear that. I know I've been stunned because I can barely move and I feel horrible about it. So make sure you go and turn off tinnitus. Now that you've got those 6 settings dialed in for a better gameplay experience, this video is the next one you need to watch. It will take you guys through a definitive guide to the best graphics settings for maximum FPS, lowest input latency, as well as being able to see every enemy as clear as possible.
We help our clients achieve the American dream.
Somos el Gloria Shana de Canadá, Bisbika, and I Nosotros hablamos tu lenguaje. Quando a gente joga para ganhar.
In this video, I'm going to be breaking down what settings the majority of the best players